As COVID cases continue to surge in Oregon, the push is on to try to convince more people to get vaccinated. Thank you for joining us for KGW News at 5 o'clock. As it stands right now, 67% of adults in Oregon are fully vaccinated, while 72% have gotten at least one dose. Christelle Kumwe shows us how a local nonprofit is trying to convince those who are still hesitant to get the shot.
We can only end this pandemic together.
Nadine Gartner is the founding executive director of Boost Oregon, a parent-led independent nonprofit organization
that empowers people to make science-based vaccine decisions for themselves, their families, and the community.
Boost Oregon is run by a group of doctors, nurses, and epidemiologists. The nonprofit started 6 years ago in response to the low vaccination rates among kindergartners in Oregon.
So we wanted to find out why were people making these decisions and how can we support them and let them understand exactly what vaccines are, how they work in the body, and why they're important.
The group provides educational resources and organizes live workshops and seminars. Gartner says there is a difference in the hesitancy they are seeing with the COVID vaccine from what they've seen before. But the underlying similarity is fear.
It's either fear of side effects, fear of losing one's community, fear of turning one's back on their political party if they think that taking the vaccine is somehow a betrayal of their political values.
So how do you talk to someone who's on the fence about getting the COVID vaccine?
You can't just, address that fear by giving them a bunch of facts about the effectiveness of the vaccine.
Instead, reach people with emotion.
And so really understand what the person's hesitancy is and let them know that you care about their health and their well-being. People want to know you care before they care what you know.
She says personal stories can help convince others to get the shot.
Talk to your physician, talk to a friend or family who has done it and learn about their experience. So we are really trying to meet people where they are and provide information that is helpful for people to make the best decisions for their health.
Christelle Kumwe, KGW News.
And now for a quick update on the COVID numbers released today by the Oregon Health Authority. The state reports more than 2,800 new and presumptive cases and 23 new deaths. OHA says there were 119 reported deaths last week, which is the highest weekly death toll since January. Hospitalizations continue to increase as well. There are 16 more people receiving care in a facility today than yesterday. In total, there are close to 1,200 hospitalizations, and 358 of those are in the ICU. That's 36 more than yesterday. Thousands of COVID-19 vaccines are nearing their expiration dates. Brandon Lewis from our Verify team looks at what happens when we reach that point.
The end of August marked the potential end of the line for some vials of the COVID-19 vaccine. A Verify viewer on Facebook asked us to clear up a rumor whether many of the doses were already past their expiration. So, let's verify. Are some vaccine doses past their initial expiration date? Our sources are the 3 vaccine makers and the FDA. When the Pfizer and Moderna vaccines were first released, they had a shelf life of up to 6 months with optimal storage temperatures, while Johnson & Johnson was only good for 3 months. However, both J&J and Pfizer continued studying how long their vaccines can remain on the shelf. In June, the FDA authorized J&J to extend its expiration date 6 weeks. Then, J&J asked for another extension in July, meaning its vaccine is now good for 6 months. In late August, the FDA gave Pfizer a 3-month extension if their vaccine remains in ultra-cold storage, while Moderna has not submitted data to extend its expiration dates. So, it's true. Some vaccines are past their initial expiration date, but that doesn't mean they're unsafe. The vaccines are still undergoing research to determine how long they remain stable. Plus, other recently produced vaccines will have the updated expiration date. With your Verify, I'm Brandon Lewis. To receive daily fast facts to your phone, text Verify to 202-410-8808. And to sign up for our newsletter, visit verifythis.com/email.
The new school year is either in full swing or just about to start. And in recent days, we've heard from concerned teachers about having so many kids back for in-person learning. One teacher sent us this photo taken at a Portland Public High School between periods. A Portland Public Schools spokesperson says these types of crowds dissipate quickly and the district will address issues as they come up. We asked a couple of doctors for their take. Dr. Smith of Chidaga has 2 kids starting in-person school next week, and Dr. Erica Meyer is a pediatrician and former teacher. They say safety protocols like mask wearing are absolutely necessary, but nothing is perfect, and we should expect to see some cases in schools.
And if we try to expect it to be perfect and expect there to be 0 cases, then we're not really facing what the reality is.
Just this week, the number of pediatric cases is up 9% compared to last week. In other areas of the country that have schools starting earlier than us, there are tens of thousands of kids who are quarantined.
They say anyone who is eligible should get the COVID-19 vaccine to protect those who can't get it right now, like children under 12. The Newburgh School Board refused to change course on its policy to ban what it calls political flags, which includes Pride and Black Lives Matter flags. The district has been getting national attention after making the call last month to prevent staff from displaying the images. The board has even been threatened with a lawsuit by the Oregon ACLU. After weeks of backlash, the board met last night to discuss rescinding the ban and come back with a new policy. But in the end, the board voted to simply table the discussion for another day.
My concerns are around the legal ramifications. Our policies are based on law, and this will be, to my current understanding, illegal.
The Democratic chairs of the Oregon House and Senate Education Committee condemned the Newburgh School District for its decision today. In a statement, they accused the school board of failing their community and inflicting harm on students, staff, and families. As part of their statement, the committee chairs said, quote, "The directors must listen to their BIPOC and LGBTQ+ students. They must stop taking actions that are contrary to state and federal law. They must maintain their oath of office." End quote. They continue to say that going down this path may lead to a loss of state funding. A federal judge has given conditional approval for a potential $10 billion settlement over lawsuits for Purdue Pharma's role in the opioid epidemic. But the state of Washington plans to appeal. The Sackler family owns Purdue Pharma, the maker of OxyContin. The judge's ruling allows for the Sacklers, hundreds of their associates, and their other companies and trusts to walk away from any liability for the opioid crisis. Washington Attorney General Bob Ferguson released a statement calling the judge's decision inadequate. He goes on to say the order is insulting to victims of the epidemic who had no voice in the proceedings. Washington is only expected to receive about $70 million over the course of a decade. Now let's take a look ahead to the holiday weekend. We know a lot of you are going to be traveling for the Labor Day break. Tim Gordon checked in on what to expect and how to handle it.
Well, if you've mostly been driving around town so far this summer, of course, there's the normal stop and go of city driving. But if you haven't been out on the freeways yet this summer, well, you may not have noticed how congested it's already gotten. With the holiday weekend coming up, officials are saying you really need to be prepared for some very busy roads. The end of summer holiday weekend. It is very close at hand.
We're expecting a very busy weekend this Labor Day. Traffic is going to be back out on the roads again.
So get ready and be careful.
Highway 18, Highway 6, certainly 26 going up to Cannon Beach. All of those roads, people should expect them to be very busy starting on Friday, starting actually on Thursday.
The Oregon coast will probably be the most popular destination. If you haven't already booked a room, Travel Oregon's Allison Keeney says good luck.
I would suggest, calling hotels directly might be the best way to try to snag a last minute hotel. But, hopefully we've been telling people to plan ahead. So hopefully most people have done that already.
Some will head to Central Oregon for the long weekend break, while others are heading south to see the sights at Crater Lake. In either direction, be aware of wildfires and just as much wildfire recovery affecting traffic.
Really all over the areas where we had the wildfires a year ago are slow, they're dangerous. You got to be careful around in there, even though work is stopping over the holiday.
Please keep hot cars off dry grass and keep trailer chains from dragging. Any new fire start could become a disaster.
Just go down to Lincoln City. We've got a campground to go to.
Joe and Janet McCollum and dog Roxy will meet family at the coast. As they head there in their RV, they will practice social distancing on the highway.
You do space between vehicles. That would be the best thing to do, but some people just are in a hurry. We're not in a hurry, we're just taking our time.
Good advice for all of us. And when you get where you're going, Travel Oregon has a campaign on asking that you be kind, especially to frontline service workers at restaurants and hotels working under pressure. Also, be responsible when it comes to COVID.
Please wear a mask when you're inside and outside. That is what's mandated right now. Also just trying to keep, socially distanced. And if you do show up at a place that's very crowded, potentially have another destination in mind, a backup plan.
Tim Gordon, KGW News.
And as we approach the 1-year anniversary of the devastating wildfires in this area, we have more on prevention. The Clackamas Fire Department is sending out reminders about how to reduce the chances of starting a fire this holiday weekend. They say it's time to familiarize yourself with evacuation routes in your area. Use extreme caution when enjoying recreational fires, and that includes keeping them only about 3 feet wide and 2 feet tall. Burn only seasoned cut firewood, not trash or yard debris. Keep fires 25 feet from any structures, and do keep a hose nearby just in case. You're also reminded to check local laws for any possible burn bans that might be in place. The U.S. Forest Service is also asking you to be cautious with fire in Oregon and Washington's national forests. They say many of you will be traveling to these areas for the holiday weekend as well. So remember, fire danger is extremely high right now. Restrictions are in place for motorized equipment and campfires. Check for recent fire activity, new restrictions, and closures before you go, and expect crowds. Suitable campsites could be few and far between right now, so pack your patience, have a plan, and have a backup plan. Lastly, recreate responsibly. Check out 10 outdoor essentials, the 7 principles of leave no trace, and Smokey the Bear's fire prevention tips before you head out the door.